What's going on, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and there are a lot of Android devices coming out. Rumors of the iPhone 5, but something that's not really being talked about is the Nokia Astound on T-Mobile. It's one of the last Symbian devices to come to a carrier before Nokia switches from Symbian to Windows Phone 7. So if you think this looks familiar, well, it is familiar. It's the Nokia C7 from Nokia World last year. So basically it's here, it's on a US carrier, it's different. Of course, we love our name, so they changed it from the C7 to the Astound. It's available now for $79.99. Let's take a look at the browser on this device and see what it looks like on kind of a smaller display, if you will. Let's go to PhoneDog. See if I can type it. Phone, D-O-G. So again, you know, for those people that have big fingers like myself, it may be a little bit harder to type on. Like I said in part one, you know, this may or may not be the best device for you. So we'll turn it in landscape mode, let PhoneDog load. T-Mobile's data speeds are very good, and I've been pleased with those thus far. So let's see what it looks like when it's loaded here. There it is. There's the PhoneDog. Bark, bark. Let's see here. Zooming in, let it zoom out here. Now, I will give it one thing, you know, I will give it some credit in one department. It's been relatively fast when it comes to things like pinch and zoom, transition. Overall transitions are pretty fluid. There's some checkerboarding, don't get me wrong, but it seems to be pretty fluid to me in terms of, you know, we'll zoom out here again. It seems to be pretty fluid and pretty clean, and even though it does take, it's kind of like Windows Phone 7, even though the transition effects take a while, it's still doing well, relatively well, with the actual transitions themselves. So let's go in and out here, come over here to the mobile news, down to top smartphones, and so you can see, zoom in on the editors list. And so pretty easy to zoom in, zoom out. There is some lag, but nothing that's not manageable by any means. So you have your arrows here. Let's click on this to get an idea. And I like how this pops up. This is actually one of my favorite things. I don't care for the overall setup of the Android browser menu. This is pretty cool, where it pops up in this little separate menu, if you will, and you can go to the home page. You can save a bookmark, switch windows, add a feed, see the settings. Just makes it kind of easy. And then we can go to a second window, scroll back to the first one. While there is some lag there back and forth, I like this setup. I like it a lot, so I have to give Symbian credit there. And so the browser, you know, pretty decent. Portrait, landscape, as you can see, and then it looks like we're going back to the T-Mobile page. So little to no lag, and at least the lag it does have is pretty manageable. Let's take a look at OV Maps, because these are two things that Symbian 3, version 3, really do well. One, Symbian Maps. We'll go into this. And it really is a good maps program, and best of all, it's free. I've done a great job. Last year, I tested this. I was in San Francisco, and we tested this, and it's been a fantastic maps tool. It does a great job. I wouldn't say it compares necessarily to Google Maps, but it's definitely a close second. So let's load up map here, for example, and you'll see it brings up Washington by default. We can pinch to zoom in and out. So think Google Maps here, but think it on the Nokia platform. And you can go to menu, and we can check in, we can see favorites, we can drive somewhere, we can check the weather. So there's just a lot you can do in this application. We can go to more, I can click on that. Go to settings here, internet navigation, route, map. And then while you're driving, one of my personal favorites is while you're driving, you can set the speed, or it'll tell you how fast you're driving. So, you know, if you go over the speed limit, it actually shows that you're going over the speed limits. I thought that was a pretty cool little feature. Let's go to menu and take a look at the OV store, because it's pretty interesting as well. And I need an OV account to sign in, which I'm not going to do that. But let's see Facebook chat, for example. Social networks. We'll load it up and see what the interface looks like. And we'll see loading. So here we go. So you see a little picture at the top, who the application is owned by, or who created it. It's a free application we can download. Like I said, I mean, just transitions are pretty quick and pretty realistic on this device, if that makes any sense. And then you get kind of a messaging and data rates your reviews, some screenshots. You can see all of the applications that that particular developer has made, and you can go, you know, you can see the related items, social networks, see all applications. And so let's take a look here. I think if I click on, okay, so there is no additional information on the app. It's just saying Facebook chat. So let's go back and take a look at Snap2, for example. And let's see. Here we go. So you can click on that. Gives you the full description. And scroll up and down. Prepare to be amazed. Download. Snap to now for free. So you can see, pretty easy to use, pretty easy to navigate. And actually, this is something that's gotten a lot better. The OV Store has improved significantly since it originally came out, and even from 6 months ago to now, it's a pretty impressive little applications platform. Now that said, again, you have to keep in mind this platform, while it's not dying, Nokia is making a major strategic shift to Windows Phone 7. So something to keep in mind if you're looking to buy this device. You may have issues with applications. Let's say a year or a year and a half from now, and if you're looking to buy this device for a 2-year agreement, that's something to certainly keep in mind. And into music we go, so we can see what the music player looks like. Let's click here. Oh, it does come with some free music. So let's see. We'll start with Alan Lomer. New Morning. Let's click on that. So here's our music player. Let's turn the volume up. Let's crank it up in this house, yo. You can see speakers pretty decent. Speakers on the back of the device. You can see portrait and in landscape mode. Options in back. So pretty easy. And then when you want to shift over, we can shift over to the other one. Free music that comes with the device. And kind of like the iPhone, if you will, or iOS, it has that shift in between the album art. So if you have a bunch of album art on the device, you can switch in between. So actually, again, pretty cool there. And it's not, it's funny because I look at this and parts of this OS seem to be out of date and then the other parts seem to be kind of up to date. This will be one of those ones where I'm like, hey, this is surprisingly up to date. So you have, of course, your songs, your playlist. You can group it by genres, podcasts, and more. So we'll go back, we'll hide and go out of that. You have a radio. Now you're going to have to connect a headset to use the radio. But the radio uses this as an antenna, exactly. So, but you do have radio capabilities. You have Slacker pre-installed, and then Gig Finder. What is Gig Finder? I guess where you can find gigs. This app must identify your location. We'll do that some other time. So we can go back, so see the music player is pretty decent. Videos and TV, of course you have YouTube, and then videos, video editor. And let's go into some terms and conditions here. We'll accept. My country is United States. We'll accept that so we can see what it looks like. Yeah, I know YouTube streams a lot of data. Let's see. We'll browse videos. We'll do top rated. Let's see here. And again, it just seems to be. I like the way the carousel here works at the top, both in this and in the menu as well. So it seems to be. I like it a lot. So you can see, videos look decent as well, but then again, I want to see if that, okay, so that was not the highest volume, so let's do one more.
Good, I don't even like Mel Gibson's movies.
Good, so there you go. See, it's pretty easy to use, and the volume's fantastic on both of these, on this device, both in the music department and in the videos department. And actually, that's pretty nice. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't work to put it down on the desk, but that's pretty nice. Can't complain there. Let's take a look really quickly at the camera. And at the calendar and the contacts, rather. I just want to show you briefly how to add a contact. Let's go to new contact so we can see. Here's what it looks like on Nokia. Not a lot's changed over the years with this. So we'll add Aaron Baker, my cell. There's my cell phone. And then let's say, that's it. We'll just say, we'll do that. We'll save it. Options. Change, add detail. I need to go down to the bottom. Where's my, oh, done. Okay, duh. Aaron Baker. And so it shows the number right there. So I can either sort by ABC or I can sort by groups. And then when I go back into my dialer, I can see that. Now I do like it has the physical send and end keys here. So when somebody calls, you can physically hit the button. One other thing I want to show you, since we kind of saw contacts and in the phone app together, let's see what an email looks like on this device. So you can see very easy account verification from HTC, and very easy to read. Let's see, plus, we can add that. Okay, it says from and to, and then our options are down here. I can mark it as unread. Obviously, typical email stuff. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, so I'll back out of that. And then last but not least, in terms of the application stuff, let's take a look at the calendar. Again, very basic here. Portrait, there's landscape, but if we wanted to create an entry on the 11th, I can tap, I'm assuming I have to tap 11. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, it's just moving a little slowly. So it's personal meeting. We can enter the subject. Is it an all-day event? Is it not an all-day event? You get the idea. But again, take a look at that keyboard. Take a look at how small it is when you're seeing it up close, and then take a look at a finger on the device. So even with a smaller finger, it's a little bit hard to type on the keyboard. Let me wait for that to zoom in. There we go. So you can see a little bit harder to type on, and then when it goes into landscape mode, the widgets change around on the screen to make it a little bit easier to see. Kind of like Mimo, actually, is what that reminds me of. So let's take a look at the camera, and that's the last bit. Call quality's been very good on this device. Battery life, phenomenal on this device. I've only charged it once since I've had it post CTIA, and I mean, don't get me wrong, that's with little to no calling, but still, the combination of standby and minor use, that's absolutely fantastic in my opinion, and battery life I think you'll be very pleased with. Call quality, I've taken it to a couple places, tested it in the Charlotte area, and have been very pleased overall. I mean, T-Mobile works well in this area, and this phone has worked well. 8 megapixel camera, it's not, to me, it's not that great. You can zoom in there. Kind of blurry, no autofocus so far as I can tell, unless I'm missing something. Let's see, make sure I'm not. Go to photos, rename album, details, use guide, etc., etc. Yeah, so unless I'm missing something, there's no, let's see, edit here, make sure I'm not. There's no option to turn on autofocus or anything like that. Resize clip art frame. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm missing anything. I looked for this at CTIA as well. The camera just doesn't seem to be that good, and it's an 8 megapixel camera, so you would expect it to be decent, but it's not. It's not the greatest camera in the world. If you're shooting shots from far off, like let's do, I have a keyboard over here, actually, I'll take a picture of. And you can see when you're shooting it, outside or shooting it from far away, it's not terrible, but you do anything else, trying to get an up-close shot, it's not going to be the best camera in the world. So is this the best device on T-Mobile for 80 bucks? Well, I don't know what else is on T-Mobile for 80 bucks right now, but if I had an Android option that was 99 or somewhere in that kind of low 100 range, I would probably recommend it over the Astound. It's unfortunate because I wish some of the Android devices had the build quality of the Astound, but with a little bit more of an up-to-date OS. There are some awesome features on this device, some awesome features of the operating system. I like these little widgets here. I like the ability to customize the device. I want to switch back. I like the ability to customize the device and do the widgets, and I like the way the browser is set up. So it has a lot of pros, or has quite a few pros, but unfortunately, Nokia's really snipped it in the bud with this Windows Phone 7 deal. It's dead in the water for the most part, and it's an operating system, that you're buying with the realization that it's dead already. That said, OV Maps, OV Store, pretty cool. There are, oh, there we go. Okay, sorry, got sidetracked by that. OV Maps, OV Store, pretty cool, and a lot of free stuff. Can't beat free stuff, and OV Maps for free is a nice alternative to Google Maps. But 80 bucks, if there was an Android phone for 80, a Nokia phone for 80 running Symbian, I'd say go with the Android device. But hey, that's just my opinion. All in all, pretty good bang for the buck. 80 bucks, really can't beat it, and there are some good features on it. Most more coverage come on PhoneDog.com with the Nokia Astound, perhaps some dogfights, and more. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. We're giving away a bunch of iPads and a bunch of phones as part of our colossal iPad 2 and smartphone sweepstakes. So tune in, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. Check it out, and be sure to follow me on Twitter as well, PhoneDog_Aaron, with any questions, comments, thoughts you have, and more. Thanks so much for watching. Keep it locked in the site. We'll see you next time.